Thokozani bogogo nabomkhulu, it's Wednesday. I'm ultra late. I just finished the reading and I think ke weather ya mo Joburg. I was fast asleep for most of today. Forgot to do my readings and started much later. So I needed to just catch up on those. So yeah, I finished late. But I didn't want to miss today's class and I might need to continue it tomorrow. Maybe that's exactly what I should do. Okay, let's pray, and then if topic yaka felt like a musi, then we'll continue tomorrow. All right. Ntata rona magodimong bitso la haleletswe ho tle moswa o thatwetse lefatsheng jwalo ka etswa le hodimong. O re fe ka jene bobe bo re lekane ba tsatsing le leng. O re tshwarele melato ya rona jwalo ka re tshwarela ba re sitelwang. O se re se moleko merulane ho ye mobe. Hobane muso kwa hao le matla le kganya le kgale jwalo ka sa feleng. Amen. Khantsang ditsela bonkgono bo ntate mo le ba makubetse ba mtjaeli ba bogatso. Ke le mema manyelwe ka ofela go tlontse netsa lefatshe. Ke le mema lona bonkgono bo ntate moholo bohle go tlontse netsa lefatshe ba bana ba bona. Haebe lona bonkgono bo ntate moholo ba tla le tla nruta. Haebe lona le tla bua. Haebe lona tla khantsa ditsela. Ke o mema wena mme wa lewatle. Ke o mema wena ntate wa ko mahaheng. Ke o mema wena ntate wa lehodimo. Ke le mema ka ofela go tlontse netsa lefatshe. Amen. Amen. Okay. So I'm here and and I just finished, so I just thought it's gonna take so long to set up. You guys, I'm sure I also my dream interpretation, she comes, now when she doesn't come, all right. Amen. Minahanong yaka ya ditoro bosiu ha phume sa boroko batho seba katela tshabo le thuthumelo tsa nkwela ka hodimo masapo wohle a mmele a keqemana seriti sa falola ka pela mahlo aka mmeleng wa ka mohwete wa iketsa diqala yo sa re themelele ke ntse ke tadimile sa sona sebopeho ke sa setsibi sa ema ka pelo mahlo aka ha didimala ka utlwa lentswe le nyenyetsa le re na ya shwang a ka loka mahlong a modimo a hlweka le mahlong a mmupi wa hae ha modimo a sa tshepi bahlanka ba hae manyeloi a hae a qosetsa bohelehele a ka tshepa jwang ba meqemeng ya makwete ba bopilweng ka lerole la lefatshe ba phetselwang ha bonolo jwalo ka tshwele. Amen. It's quite interesting, very interesting scripture. This is Job chapter 4 verses 13 to 19. It was so interesting. Okay. Sari temelele. Hey mkhulu. Thokozani bogogo nabomkhulu, what a relevant scripture to the topic. So today I'm going to just revisit Nzuza Spirits. And this was a revelation that I was given ka Monday by Kuku. I'm going to talk about Lozi names next week, or either that or a Fire Church. I'm just going to write it as New Age Church, but it's very relevant to what we are teaching today, what I'm teaching. So, you know, I actually first thought to revisit the issue of Nzuza Spirits when a lady last week, during the weekend of the seminar, she slept over here and she told me that there was a lady in Cape Town who said that Utwasisa di Nzuza Spirits only because Nzuza Spirits are the highest or the purest form of spirituality, and that Badimu Basitsu are kind of evil. So this lady, well, you know, Nzuza fela, right? And okay, I remember hearing about that and thinking, okay, you know, and now sort of also reflecting on my own life, and I'm going to go into that a bit later on. And then I heard this past weekend about other people, other prophets, sort of giving the inclination ya gore Nzuza spirits are the only ones or are the main ones that we should twasam or that we should be focusing on, because abanguni and amanono and all of that. And I suppose amanyamadlos, idlos, is not good for you, right? So I thought to myself, okay, what is Nzuza spirits? I think let's look at them in isolation. So basically, Nzuza spirits, ke modimo wa ko magageng. Ke modimo wa ko thabeng, translated into modimo wa ko magageng, the caves, right? And what I agree with the prophets and those who are in Nzuza spirit, is that yes, Nzuza spirits are spirits that we would most like to acknowledge when we refer to sporofito, right? Nzuza spirits would most likely, not most likely, they will want you to consider praying to a God and praying to a Jesus. They would want that, right? They would want you to pray to a God, to pray to a Jesus. So Nzuza spirits, if you really think about it, kereke ya Saint John, right, should be founded upon Nzuza spirits. Jehovah's Witness, definitely Nzuza spirits. Kereke ya Sabata, Nzuza spirits. Sioni, well, I mean, Hwaiwa ko magageng. So Nzuza spirits are definitely acknowledged. So definitely because now babata gore u rapele modimo, right? So Nzuza spirit bokoko na bomkhulu, we think you can have it in isolation, right? And on a technicality you can, and I'm going to walk you guys through how they actually function and show you why maybe people think they can be looked at in isolation, whereas they're not. The thing guiding Nzuza spirits is that they emanate from balots, right? So irikirim, baloti are the universal spirits of overall good, right? Baloti would be the energy that says all things work together for those who love the Lord. Baloti are the divine law of attraction, right? Law of resonance. Baloti are overall spirits that say, okay, regardless of how things have happened, whether you went through twice or a wrong and all of those things, it was all for the bigger picture. So baloti look at your life and even your spirituality, your life. Baloti batong ki modimo, basically, right? Balozi is the universe. They say, well, everything has worked out the way that it should. So Nzuza spirits really emanate from balots, right? Because everything actually emanates from balots, right? If we say that what is a heaven or the universe, the Big Bang Theory, the law of Darwinism, all of these different seemingly conflicting philosophies are derived by balots. Balotsi, they allow you, the individual, to create whatever sense of philosophy around your life, right? It's going to make you prosperous, and it's going to help you to work out your divine purpose. So that's what they're about, right? To form a satanic church, Satanism, for the founder of the church, it was a Balozi concept, right? Balozi don't look at what we would call morals. They don't look at that. They look at, they just look at the overall picture that you're going to be okay, right? And that you are here for your own unique divine purpose, right? So Nzuza is derived from balots. And yes, Gogo Florence, it's a water spirit, definitely, but it is a water spirit coming up from under the water, the sidiba sa ko magageng. That is typically where you will find Nzuza spirit. Now, it's very interesting that people will say that, to pursue Nzuza spirit is to sort of denounce Badimo Basetsu. It's very interesting and very weird because Nzuza most likely, most definitely, most of the time comes up as a python, comes up as a snake. In actual fact, if there should be any spirit that comes up as a snake, it should be the Nzuza spirit and not any other spirit. Abanguni or Batswana or Basotho ke badimba ko geno ba montlong. So these people are batseba, right? They can come through the face of a mother, granny, whoever, right? Ndau, they are badimu again, badimu bako gabo lona, right? Of the family that was distant or the family esa go godisang, right? So Ndau, they like to come up as friends, neighbors, right? Neighbors to say kibo mokotsi. Friends to say we are working with you. They come up as pets, dogs. They come up as a dog again being man's best friend, right? So Ndau, they don't need to come up as a snake either, right? Mulozi is the divine being. So Mulozi can come up as whichever philosophy that you've ever believed in. So for those who say they've dreamt of Jesus, right? It's a Mulozi, right? Mulozi nakwe you can see yourself because Mulozi speaks to a higher self. So you would be seeing yourself walking on water, flying, blah, 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 Lozi spirits. Right? Ndau sorted, Mlozi sorted. Manono, right? Manono are actually the childlike version of Mlozi spirits. Right? So Manono would be the innocence, the purity part of your gift. And I remember saying this some time ago that I don't believe you get Manono only by abortion or miscarriage. And there's a gogo that proved me right. I hope to actually give you guys some of the research that she has done in her own life. She's not in South Africa. This is a gogo with Cameroonian ancestors. And she has proven the link between Amanono and children. But Amanono, again, are actually divine heavenly beings. Right? Okay. So kushota bo manyano. No ribile kaen. Ndau ribile kaen. Makosi libona, Makosi are actually the bridge between Ndau and Umlozi. So they are the traditional sense of the divine karma that has come and been presented in your life, or an issue yasem samo, looking at Umguni or the traditional aspect, leaning into Ndau, the karmic energy, and then ultimately that needs to be resolved for your higher good. So something like to stop a drug addiction or to beat a drug addiction, that would be something that a Makosi element. Makosi ke baholo, these are your elders, right? And they want you to come to the realization, your Balozi spirits, that you are more than you ever imagined your life to be. And that some of the problems, the Ndau elements, right, are not issues that started with you, right? Ndiki spirits, I've actually spoken about this, Gogo Nobuhle, that Ndiki is actually the Xhosa version of Ndau. And Ndiki is actually Ndau and Umlozi mixed together. Now you're getting to where I'm going to, right? So when we speak about Nzuza spirits, and the reason why I'm revisiting it, this is what Kuku said to me, and it blew my mind. My grandmother said to me, Nzuza spirit is actually what you guys in the Eastern study call the Kundalini Sanskrit. I was like, what? So she said, Nzuza spirits is actually the alignment of your chakras. And I've already spoken about chakras and which ancestor aligns with it. She said to me, it is now normally, typically your Nzuza spirits, you guys recognize that unenzuza when you see your third eye opening, right? And she said, most of you guys don't realize that for the third eye to open, the other elements or the other chakras need to be open, right? But it is true that according to the chakras, you wouldn't really need to open the chakras line by line for them to ascend the next one. Let me give you guys a very simple example. If you are Jehovah's Witness, right? and you believe in a God only, and they do serve, by the way, so they do become servants, so through going in house to house, right? So that sense of divine knowledge of God, crown chakra, which is where Mlozi is, right? They activate their Baloti spirits to be able now to walk in servitude. So they're already paying the karma, their own individual family karmas, by going in and being servants. So Ndau gets addressed just by a Jehovah's Witness becoming a baptized one, right? And they will follow Baloti, higher spirits. And then they will follow is Amakhosi. And Amakhosi would only be, again, where you are now resolving spiritual karmic energies for your higher good. And that is why, if, let's say, Jehovah's Witness, they believe only in Jehovah. So whenever they've got personal problems, right, they will not consider such. They will say, believe only in Jehovah. So they have umsamo, omhlopi. They have only a white cloth as ilati. They don't recognize the grass mat element. They don't have indumba. They don't need it, right? Somebody who was a Jehovah's Witness can start to be uboniswa. I can start to profit. Why? Because the basic elements profit, right? Which is to go out and be a servant, to pray to a higher being, to pray religiously, to have a routine. They've got it, right? So that person's third eye can open from the crown chakra, a pursuit of the Balodzi, right? Coming down, right? And into the throat chakra, which is going around, blah, blah, blah. Solar plexus, they're not sitting there about giti, but hey, they're walking around, right? So there's purpose. And from that point on, then their third eye opens, which is Nzuza, actually. So I see why, and rather my grandmother said to me, she sees why people start to assume that Nzuza spirits are the third eye. They are not the third eye. Nzuza spirits are the alignment of your chakras that you may open your third eye, which is perceptive of the Baloti, the God in you, the higher self, right? And from this perception, the witnessing of the Jehovah's Witness, right? They have witnessed that God, Jesus Christ, has done all these amazing things. And from there, that is how they move on to their crown chakra, which is Baloti, right? When they have problems or whatever Ndau issues in their family lines, then they immediately block that out by saying, but Christ is the beginning and the end. And Jesus himself as well, he says that. He says that, I've attained mastery, that you don't need to start and pursue your ancestral issues, right? Of course, Jesus would be able to achieve this mastery because his biological father was actually not his biological father, but that's not the point, right? He was not the only one. Samuel was not, Arut was a prophet. He was not raised Samuel by his biological father. Eli is not Samuel's biological father. Eli is a spiritual father. Samuel. So what Jesus Christ now does is that he starts to teach us that in actual fact, to be able to attain the version of yourself, the higher self, the Balozi self, for to be able to attain your connection with God, sometimes you don't need to go through your ancestors. And obviously, Jesus would need to be, he would need to come up with that narrative because he doesn't follow what his ancestors do anyway, right? With the law and how to become a Pharisee. He doesn't follow that. He creates his own thing. So Jesus actually created his own doctrine. And that is why the doctrine of Jesus becomes important for churches like that. Because it is a doctrine of individuality. Yes, it's a doctrine that was never meant to be turned into a regime and into a religion, of course. And it's because people largely fail to understand what his work was about. And I said I'm going to teach about how Jesus taught it. Right? But that is not the point. The point is, he created his own version of what he thinks divinity is. So, Batubako, Jehovah's Witness, they believe the same thing. right? Right. So Nzuza is actually, if you were looking at it at an ancestral place, is the movement of your kundalini. It is the alignment of all of your chakras. It is the alignment of your being. Right? And how can we prove that? Because the reason why we can prove that is that if you can believe in a doctrine of a Jesus, someone that you don't know, right? And you can align with a doctrine that basically says, do it yourself, because that's what Jesus says, right? Then you are going back to the inner version of you of in the beginning. You go through a Facebook okonabomkhulu, and Butandingaka, they'll tell you, you go through a phase when your mguni, your Ndau is opened up. These are your traditional ancestors. These are normally the triggering spirits, right? Then wakena at the wrong lifet. It's maybe not where your lifet is the wrong place. It's because your mguni and your Ndau are your awareness spirits. They make you aware that there's a higher you that calls you to come and do its work. And come to mguni limdawe, you need the combination of imiti and izwasho. You need that. That's why we prepare the body. Right? That's why we cleanse the body of the physical or of the spiritual ills. And then you raise up. Your Ndau from your sacral chakra will move you to your solar plexus. From solar plexus, now you are entering the spiritual world, right? And normally, we give you guys a makobongo. Makobongo is to activate your solar plexus. You guys palaza to empty, to clear the solar plexus. Because now you're no longer moving from the tangible, physical, real world. Your solar plexus would be the place between heaven and earth. So your solar plexus should also be the place where your dreams come from. Right? It should be that place. So that is the place that we activate with amakobongo and the dreams and the discussions and that. Right? It is the place between the earth realm and the spirit realm. Right? Then now, from the time you get to solar plexus, now you're moving into your heart chakra. And this is most of the time where now you start to see the desires of your heart. You see yourself starting to manifest small things. You're starting to see yourself doing things. But hangata, heart chakra and Manono spirits, they are very much aligned. They are very much aligned. Right? Because now you are getting spirits, let me say, of children whom you've apparently had abortions and miscarriages for, that you later find out that no, actually they were meant to be that way. So from a Mlozi place, like I said, Manono is a child or been driven by Umlozi. You find out, no, the miscarriage or the abortion was required because in any case, at Nguni level needs you kuti mase uyinyanga, melu gezo nyekazi lenkuku. That's it. When you are looking at Nguni as Motswana or Musuto or whoever, then you go to your home, ukupa malume wa hao to cleanse you. You need that. You need that because malume wa hao is the first connection to your first badimu. Whether your mom and your dad were married or not, malume is always the first connection. Right? Because it was through the womb of malume carries the DNA of his father. So malume is actually your mother's father as well. Right? So now you're going into your heart chakra, right? Manono comes. Tabayabana, the place of birth, rebirth, new perspectives of life, new everything, right? Possibilities start to look great. Normally, when people get to Manono level, you actually stop to ask for the things that you want, Molefatsing. You start to make peace with being broke. Nguni Limdau, they were the ones who made you broke and sick and whatever. And I don't know, because you were heading in that direction, by the way, because Baloti oversees everything. You were heading that direction. But now, once you get to Manono, you've started to come with your sense of reality because now, slowly, your connection from the earth to the spirit world is now, it's going up. Now you're starting to see things. Perspective is changing. Your heart loves other things. Right? Right. Your heart, from your heart chakra, by the way, that is really where you would start to see. And you know, it's so funny. Once you are doing dilotabadimu, or not dilotabadimu, I must stop saying that. Once you realize that you've got a calling, hangata, it is actually from your heart where you start to see where this calling is supposed to drive you. If uklola, it's something that you really like, then most probably, you would love the infiltral part of Petrol. If that is something that resonates with you, then your gift will feel like, okay, fine, I'm doing it. If now you are also a Petrol and you start to feel like, but I'd love to heal children, then you're starting to see your gift to say, okay, fine, maybe let me go and work with children. So your heart chakra is very important because it's giving you now the pointers. It's giving you now the purpose. It's driving you towards your purpose. Or what is it? Right? Outside of the karmic issues and the overall universal lessons, outside of that, right? This heart chakra, because whatever we ratang translates to do what you love. So Manono really works to that. The inner child you, the undisturbed you, the part of you that was there even before the afflictions of this world came about. Right? From your heart chakra, you're going to throat chakra, voice of expression. Right? This is where now we are Alisa, we are, you're singing and all of that and whatever. You're praying out loud. Great. From there, then your third eye. Now, at third eye level, like I said, there are many combinations, and I hope one day to do the chakras and how many different combinations so that you can see why you've got a strong malopo gift versus a strong sporofito gift, right? Hangata sporofito, you might find what is sporofito is actually you activating your throat chakra first, right? And from your singing, like you find kobo postola mo shapi one scoop when that. The rattling of the drum, it starts to affect your sacral chakra, where now God meets human, right? And that is why kodi kerekenzo utauka batho haba bina pina ya ba mitsa ka mabitso Emmanuel modimo na le rona. But I think they start going to a vibe. Batsogela ke badimo, right? The term Emmanuel now is referring to the solar plexus, the God with us. So Moto could start a spiritual gift that simula go profita just from go bina le go tlapa matsogo and these songs. And from there on, then you reach to your baloti, slowly you get there, right? So then, by the time you get to your third eye, then, okay, wabona, you have got perspective. Third eye is not about go profita batho or uklola. It's got nothing to do with that. Third eye has got to do with, firstly, you identifying. Because remember, when your gift came about, you didn't know who you were. Third eye is the answer that God gives himself, itself, when it says, I am what I am. By the time you get to third eye level, whether you've got patients walking in, or you've got, or your business is picking up, or you've made peace, or you've made peace. Third eye is to say, I am what I am. Honality levels, study third eye, right? Honality afflictions that third eye. Most of the afflictions that third eye is when you will go through a really troublesome space in your spirituality and witty clary, witty beta. All these things, but there's nothing you can do about it because now the universe is starting to teach you to sit, watch, do nothing, not panic, and not throw your toys and not be angry at your ancestors. So most of us are got third eye level, where we are still learning what's one. Gore ya no motho o go manyitse gore wena o profita maka or wa profita mara o kry di 5 rand. That's why batho ba le ba khalne ba kry di 5 rand. It was to address the third eye. Now third eye, you are being a disciple. You are starting to discern from the eye of spirit, where what you used to think was important, now you don't give a shit about, right? Third eye is also the ground on which impande should be cultivated on. Because normally by the time you have impande, you've had a few twasas who've got, by the way, star spirits or high spirits on all these different chakras. You've had Itwasa whose strength is Abanguni. You've had Itwasa whose strength is Ndau spirits. You've had a Twasa who's Mutuamo Profeta. You've had a Twasa who doesn't believe. You've had all of these different Twasas. And now you're starting to formulate from third eye level. And from your flexibility, right? You're starting to formulate new things. How is it going to function? Because you've seen different trends, right? Third eye level is where you actually allow the gift to merge with you. right? Where you start to say, but I am still a servant, and mudimu, badimu, God, baka, liba whoever, otlang monna, you know. And third eye level would be, again, Prophet Ezekiel, where God would say, do you see, or God would ask him, I think it's Daniel, do you see that big pot that is boiling? And Daniel's answer was, yes, God, I see. And God asked him, what does it mean? And he says, but God, only you know. So when you get to your third eye level, you are not fazed by the things that frighten you, right? And Badimu, normally, they move you between crown chakra, third eye, throat chakra, and heart chakra. They will move you forward and backwards. That's how you get mastery, by the way. Jesus Christ did his 12 years, his 21 years, but from what we call the New Testament, we're actually seeing solar plexus, heart chakra, throat chakra, third eye, baloti. Keeping on, repeat. So, Nzuza is the alignment. Nzuza is the perfect state that allows you, by the way, to understand witchcraft, to understand negative karmic deeds of both yourself and your patient and the world, and still seek or push for yourself, the patient, and the world to be better. So Nzuza is the petrol to your life purpose. It is the alignment of the Kundalini. Now you are aligned with yourself, even though you are a working in progress. Even though maybe, well, it's very difficult to have this alignment without the third eye, but it is possible through faith. Faith is seeing what you believe, right? The evidence of what is unseen, right? There is also the same law of manifestation. So Nzuza now starts to say, I am work in progress, but despite the evil that I see in the world and the evil that has been done to me, I know that I needed to go through it. Let it manifest itself as pain, that I may be a better version of myself and recreate the spark that I see in me in other people. So Kuku said to me, anybody who is being shown or Ndau wa mundia, or you've got Chinese Ndau spirits, most of the time they are driving you. They will drive you towards Nzuza, right? Because these are principles, these are philosophies that are meant to look at discipline of the you. And that's what spiritual Kundalini or spiritual alignment is, right? But Kukwaka said to me to think to yourselves that you are avoiding those within you only because you see the alignment, and only because you call the alignment chakras or God. She said to me, because you think you call the alignment God or higher self, it is a very short-sighted view to consider that Nzuza spirits are in the excess or in the absence of Badim. It's impossible. If you have ever believed in a God, and that's what Kukwaka said, if you have ever believed in the God, and in the Bible which you guys read, it says all things were created for him, by him, for him, for itself. So Kukwaka said, now, believing that and excluding what you would call the expression of God as Badimu is very short-sighted, right? And that is why Although Mutua Jehovah's Witness can have the baloti, can have the third eye, most of the time, the Nzuza element of their being is hindered. And it's not because that person is Jehovah's Witness. Anybody who subscribes religiously to any type of doctrine, then the alignment, the Nzuza, the Kundalini can never really align, because now your doctrine that you believe in, the philosophy that you believe in, is one that life always proves or disproves, because you've got an Ndau, you've got a karmic spirit. You can believe in a God, the perfect God, right? Who wants you to only believe in that. How fatal you have a child that you did not expect and you are forced to go for an abortion. And unfortunately, in the philosophy of doctrine, then how then do you get the cleansing? Right? Yes, you can get the cleansing. But how do you then confess your sin? Because then that philosophy, the doctrine says, then at least confess your sin. How do you confess your sin? To who? So Koko said to me, Baba Ring, Baba Taho Sala Nzuza Spirits Moraho. They are shortchanging themselves. Doctrine and philosophy is very important with regards to your mlozi. Mlozi anataba boko na bomko. Baloti abanataba. Baloti ki mudimu. Abanataba. Or you want to call mudimu me or ntate, doesn't matter. Anataba mudimu. Right? Mulozi wants you to functionally apply your life purpose, right? And Mulozi, just like in the Jehovah's Witness, a case, Mulozi would always want you to go out and be a servant and go and preach to others. Mulozi wants you to look at your life outside of you, right? So that's what I've got to say actually about Nzuza. Nzuza Spirits boko na bomkuli. That's the only spirit ya noha, by the way. From now on, when you guys dream of snakes, you must know that there's a big element of Nzuza Spirits. Another thing that Kuku said to me was that Nzuza Spirits are a combination of both the karma and the divine order, right? She said to me, it's the best song that really narrates Nzuza Spirits, Amazing Grace. I was blind, but now I see. Nzuza Spirits actually acknowledge both the karma, and which is Ndau, and the divine order, right? Ndau, we said the cause and effect. So it's the effect of the cause, right? But Nzuza Spirits say that even the cause was summoned by you, Mlozi. And the effect also summoned by you, Ndau. So Nzuza again is calling us to higher laws of attraction. And Kokwaka said to me, so that is why when you are considering Nzuza Spirits, and that is why these are spirits ako machaching. If you can go machaching for whatever the reason, right? For whatever the reason. Even if you are called Kerekenya Sion. Kereka Sion. Linyeloi. La mole. Ki badimo. But linyeloi la Sion ki badimo ba mole. There's not somebody else's. Ntate Likhanyane did not choose a Saint Paul. Kurana kereka gage. Linyeloi la zetsitsi ke Ntate Likhanyane. And for those who dream of him, ba bona yena. Because ke ena badimo ba jarata ya kereka gage. Kereka ke jarata ya. Right? And that is why bayako machaching. So what Kuku said is that the moment uyako machaching, you've got an ancestral Ndau spirit. Ke badimo. You've got badimo that want you to work kaikereki. Because the caves, machacha ki the caves, right? Caves are a place where people, going back to the Sangoma, the same people, they lived in caves. So Badimo are asking you to go there, and there is a well, a secret well, spiri, under the caves. Under the caves. Now, here's a question. If there was no Badimo element to it, Why would mongako magageng a ska ikemela mo monyako mo lebaleng? Why mongako magageng a sa iko metsing? Because o teng ko metsing. Why does he not go there? Right? Because lenyelo la ko metsing le bonwang ke mang le mang. Ke lenyelo la gago la profito or even the mermaid spirits, they come riding on the wave. Bona ke mang le mang. The white element. Right? But le lenyeloi le berekang ka metsi mara a iphitlhileng ke lenyelo la spirit. So it means when you've got Nzuza spirits, you are looking at badimo ba spirit. You are actually aligning to kereke ya spirit. I think I'm saying a lot about kereke spirit. But I've given you guys, Baba say it's in kereke spirit, le baba eating a big clue. Kereke spirit, then how does it combine badimo ba setso into the context of Jesus? It is because certain things like your kundalini, like your chakras, like your definition of what badimo mudimu is, which is actually Yonguni and Ndau combination. Certain things are not out there for the talking. And certain things, even if they can be taught, just like kereke spirit, unless you're in it, you'll never get it. So Thokozani. African spirituality is broader than any doctrine, and I've said this over and over. It is so interesting, they bring us philosophies which we think are Eastern and Western. They're not. And I would say that we should pursue our Nzuza spirits with a deep humility and an open-mindedness. I'm going to tell you guys how I first found out. There was a girl who asked, can you have all these spirits? You should, because they filter into one another. Anyway, they filter into one another, right? Nzuza spirits would come from the family, so Nzuza spirits would most of the time come with the Ndau, right? And that is why they're a combination of Mlozi Ndau, right? The divine order of things. And this is how I came about my Nzuza spirits that I was given by my father's people. Again, because of Ankodis, the Karmic debt. I remember seeing a book that I'd written. So my Nzuza spirit, my father's mom, the alignment in me actually showed me that I'm going to write a book, basically. But in the dream, I had Nzuza spirits. I was reading a book, and the title of the book was saying The Secrets of Sabobukhatsu Nzuza Spirits. It was the funniest dream on earth, because I saw like these men, Baba Sarah, in a cave, 2 levels of caves. And it was like I was at the bottom of the cave, and they were wearing these springbok skins. And I could see their testicles. It was the funniest thing. So I woke up in the morning and I thought, okay, what did that dream mean? Kukwaka answered me, my father's mom, and said, literally, sorry for the swear word. And I couldn't quite get it, but why would she use that word? And then my grandmother said, come much later, and explained to me, and what she was trying to say to me is, make peace. I'm giving you the gift. Nzuza. Alignment. Make peace. And and what she was saying to me was, let not your pursuit of divinity be outside of the construct of the people. So my alignment now had to come from a place where I could understand my dad, right? My father, like my dad is a special character. We fight a lot. we fight a lot with my dad. But what his mother was trying to say to me was, the version of your dad that you see, that you are fighting, Rona, we are not angry. We understand the Ndau element, the Ndau Mlozi combination, it's Nguni. It's Nzuza. His past and where I took him as his mother, as a child, right, is where he is now. And that is why he's like this. And about so. So, amogela, it doesn't matter. Keep mole. And from your father's side. Because, hey, on my father's side, it's a doctrine thing at mole. And Kukwaka said to me, I want you to blend and to merge yourself in such a way where you don't stick out. If banabaka they come up with concept that don't. If they come up with concept that do it. So what my granny was telling me is that I'm giving you the gift of alignment through the knowledge of what is right and wrong, but I want you to bend yourself, become an airbender. And true to form, after I got that dream, Nzuza, my forefathers in the cave, a lot of very interesting things started to happen. My Twasa stopped being somebody who had been qualified, had gone through the wrong things. Only my Twasa started to be people by no kore mutateng unalinya and I didn't get it. Because at the time I was strict. You know, my view of the world was from a divinity point. I wanted to be divine and represent the divine. And then Basimula, after that dream, Nzuza, and accept all who come as they are. Now kiwana le stress or yano utla litwasa enelina linyati enenyati ke netlamile pata letwaso, but I feel so bad. I'm like, I can't do this. You know, I can't do this. I mean, what am I promoting here? What am I doing? Blah, blah, blah. And but I get badimu by this lady, they say, no, we want Nyati to pay. He must pay. Nyati is the one who's supposed. I did not get it. Koreano Nyati patala kama baka afin. You know, but as I grew spiritually, I now started to break down from this state of perfection that I thought I was, down back into moto. And that is the interesting thing about Nzuza Spirits. Most of them we don't even know Rabatwasa. Today, ukabangaka wailo twasa bungaka and whatnot, your Nzuza Spirit will take you to hell and back for your alignment. That spirit does not care. Because that spirit irumwa ke Ndau limlozi wow. Right? And then after that, the day you decide to take amabai ako and ban them, then you get a job. And true to form, I hope next week I want to teach about that as well. Or why will New Age churches never die? The New Age church as long as bungoma, New Age church must stay. Right? And the moment after Twasa and everything, I've seen there was a gogo as well that I know she's got like a blog now. She denounced Ubungoma, Libadimu, and went for Jesus, right? And her blog is doing good. So the moment Uchisa Mabai, and you even come out of this whole Badimu thing, then your life flourishes. It's Nzuza Spirits that do that. They want you to follow your alignment in such a way that it is a pattern. It's amazing. By instruction of Mlozi, who's the universe, Ndau, who's the karma. So how does that translate at the end of the day? It's fine, go and bend them. Right? And then after and your life is working out, after a few years your dreams they start again. It's Nzuza Spirits that do that. Because Mudimu needs to create a polarity in your life. You're not here. None of us are here to achieve a point of stagnation. We're not here for that. There is no higher state that you will achieve than wadula mo ukobela. And okay, ukagobela at the level which you're at. But there is no place when you know everything and then you stay in that constant place. Right? You will always, at some point, you need to. Why? Because once you reach Balots, then you move down, you will have a change. Something that Mulozi Wakaku will do that is meant to make you go back to your Ndau. That is what you call self-awareness, where you're purging your inner self. That's what they call, what do they call it? Working out the self. Right? Now you start to go through many archetypes. You start to go through many of your created personalities and realize that you had created some before we looked Twasa, and you had even created more, and the egos surrounding those personalities. So each personality moves down from Malbaloti down to the third eye and throat chakra. Now where you must declare, come down, heart chakra, ratan. Each of those personalities needs you to work through them. The father, okay, fine, you build yourself up now. Ndumba on your mother's side, then Ndau from your father's side. Onusamat, your father that you hate. And you come down and you work up. And then that Ndau brings another Ndau element of how you ended up married to the wrong person because you had father figure daddy issues. Because now your daddy is back. That Ndau has been sorted back into Mloti. Now onto your husband, your marriage that you got into because of all the daddy issues. Now there's that archetype of you. There's that version of Lerato from Baloti crown chakra again to Mundawa kwa Papa Gago, addressing this issue now, fixing the inner you, coming down, uba angry linyalo le felo or lidu le, you try to work through it. You do that, okay, self-expression, sharp. Mundawa from your mother's side, your mom because she didn't take her gifts, because she had fear, she instilled fear in you. Now you're working through all of these archetypes. So, Bokoko na bomkulu. Nzuza Spirits will always be, it needs to break down to reconstruct. Become to unbecome. Become to unbecome. Learn to unlearn. That's how you keep on purging your way into spirituality. So I think I've said a lot today. But guys, don't say that. It's not true. All of the elements of of your experience molifating are presents, are gifts from God. Even this Luani that you've been told, it's a present from the universe. Right? It's a present, trust me. And only when you get to Baloti level do you understand that without this Luani, you wouldn't have gone to Trolla. Without to Trolla, you wouldn't have been told that you got a gift. And if you didn't know that, you would have still been misaligned, blah, blah, blah. You know, your evil Gogo, your evil Josie, your Joseli Bilane, important. So for your Kundalini Sanskrit, for the alignment of all of the energetic chakras within you, the gods, the different levels of gods, the different levels of heaven, even the different levels of consciousness, they require all of these elements. So have a great Wednesday. Next week I think I must teach Katabaya fire. It's she's bringing bombs. So I was just very grateful for the lesson, Nzuza Spirits, and I hope I'll be able to come back with a redefinition of what Nzuza is. Okay. Tokozani, have a great Wednesday. Talk next Wednesday. Tokozani, great night. Bye.